All right, let's dive right in. If your warehouse ever feels like a totally chaotic puzzle with thousands of pieces, trust me, you are not alone. But what if I told you there's a simple, incredibly powerful way to turn that chaos into a real strategic advantage? Well, today, we are unlocking the ABCs of inventory control. So just picture this for a second. You've got this massive warehouse, and it's filled with 10,000 different items, everything from tiny screws to super expensive servers. Now, is your team trying to give every single one of those items the exact same level of attention? If the answer is yes, you're fighting an uphill battle you basically can't win. And it turns out, trying to do that isn't just inefficient. That's right. Treating a pallet of high-end smartphones with the same management rules as a box of paper clips is, let's be honest, an economic crime against your own company. It just burns through time, money, and focus. But don't worry, there is a brilliant solution to this. And that solution is all about sorting. It's a method for finding some serious order in all that chaos. And it's built on a principle you've probably heard of, but maybe not quite like this. It's the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. The idea is really simple. In most things, a huge majority of your results, we're talking 80%, come from a tiny minority of your causes. In our case, about 20% of your products. Now, this isn't just some abstract theory. For most businesses, it's a cold, hard mathematical reality. So if we look at your inventory by just the sheer number of different items, the SKUs, it probably looks a little something like this. Group C, those least important items, they make up half of your entire product list. They're the bulk of what's physically sitting on your shelves. But now this is where it gets really interesting. When we flip the script and look at value, that tiny 20% of items, our Group A, generates a whopping 80% of the result. And that massive Group C, the 50% of your items, they contribute a measly 5%. This right here, this is the big aha moment of ABC analysis. It tells you exactly where you need to focus. Okay, but here's where this gets even smarter. That result we keep talking about, it isn't always sales dollars. The true power of this whole thing comes from changing your perspective based on who's asking the question. For the sales team, it's pretty straightforward. Their A items are the cash cows, right? The products that bring in the most money. They want to make sure these are always in stock, no questions asked. But go ask the warehouse manager, and you're going to get a totally different answer. For them, A items are the ones that get picked the most often, regardless of the price tag. These are the items they want right up front, closest to shipping, to cut down on travel time. Think about it. An expensive turbine that sells once a year might be an A for sales, but for the warehouse, that's a C all day long. And then there's the finance team. They've got their own take. For them, A items are the ones tying up the most working capital. These are the expensive products where every extra unit just sitting on a shelf is money that isn't out there working for the business. They want the inventory on these kept as lean as humanly possible. So, once you sorted all your items into these categories, what do you actually do? Well, the crucial thing is you stop using one management strategy for everything. You need different playbooks for different groups. Here's a really simple way to remember all this. Just think of your inventory like they're customers at an exclusive club. Group A, those are your VIPs. They get all the special attention. Group B are the regulars. You treat them well. And Group C are the casuals who you manage with as little fuss as possible. And this really shows the difference in strategies. For your VIPs, your Group A items, the goal is total control with minimal stock. You're ordering them frequently in small batches, keeping safety stock razor thin, counting them all the time, and putting them in the prime golden zone of the warehouse. But for Group C, the bulk items, it's the complete opposite. You want to minimize the admin time, so you order huge batches once or twice a year, you deliberately inflate your safety stock because it's cheap, and you stick them way in the back, in the dead zones of the warehouse, just to get them out of the way. So what about Group B, the in-betweeners? Well, the management style here is basically a compromise. You use periodic controls, like checking in monthly, and you keep a moderate amount of safety stock. But the most important job with Group B is to watch them. You gotta monitor them for migration. Is this item getting more popular and on its way to becoming a VIP? Or is it falling out of favor, about to get dropped down to Group C? All right, this all sounds great in theory, doesn't it? But how do you actually do it? Let's take a quick look at how you get from a messy spreadsheet of raw data to these clear, actionable categories. The good news is, with tools we all have, like Excel or Google Sheets, this is actually pretty simple. You prep your data, you use a pivot table to get your totals, you sort it from high to low, you calculate that running percentage, define your 80, 95, 100% boundaries, and then you just label everything. It's a clear, repeatable algorithm, no magic involved. And here's what that looks like in the real world. In this little example, we sort by turnover. You can see the iPhone and the MacBook together make up 80% of the total value. Boom, they are your Group A, your VIPs. The AirPods fall neatly into Group B, and the low-value case and cable are clearly your Group C. It's really that simple. But hey, this concept isn't some dusty idea stuck in the past. It is evolving with technology, and it's becoming smarter, faster, and even predictive. See, in the past, this was all reactive. You'd run a report and find out about a sales spike after it already happened. Today, AI can predict that spike based on social media trends, or even the weather. Modern systems can flag a product's move to Group A before it actually happens. And a warehouse management system, or WMS, the software brain of the whole operation, can automatically reslot that item to the golden zone overnight. And the upgrades, they don't stop there. We now have multi-dimensional views, where we combine ABC analysis with XYZ analysis, which just measures how stable the demand for an item is to get a much richer picture. Systems are recalculating these ratings daily, even hourly, and automatically creating tasks to optimize the physical warehouse layout in real time. So if you take only one thing away from this, let it be this. ABC analysis is more than a technique. It's a philosophy. It's about having the discipline to focus 80% of your time, your effort, and your money on that critical 20% of your inventory that truly determines your success. Which leaves us with one last really crucial question. Take a hard look at your own operations. Is your business really truly focusing on the right 20%?